Hello, thank you for the response on our requirement for the school BTS lands. We got quite a few good options, but at the same time, many had questions around what is a BTS. Now, BTS is a build to suit. So it's build to suit. And so what it means is, now let us say you have land. So based on the client, so first we fix on the client, right? Who the client is going to be. Now, this terminology is across whether you're in the warehouse, commercial, school, whichever segment it is. So you work with your lessee on how the property is going to come up, the design, the structure, and everything, the facilities that need to be given, etc. You work along with your lessee, and according to their requirement, it is done. That is what is BTS, or build to suit. So that is as far as the BTS is concerned. There was another query related to how does the model work. Now, when it comes to schools, especially with Corona and everything, there is a fear around schools. Okay, will schools run? Will there be income? Definitely, that fear is there. Every business has its risks. So yes, school business does have this risk, but considering that things have improved, and most of the large schools have tried to retain as much, at least part of the rental, so that we have to be we have to accept that fact that yes, the risk is there everywhere. Now this hit not only schools, it hits every commercial property. Now whether you take a warehouse, whether you take a showroom, everything got hit. So we cannot classify that this issue is there only with school rentals. Any rental has this issue. So that we need to keep in mind first. So rental, anything you go there, every risk business has its own risks. So that risk is definitely there when it comes to any rental model. So when it comes to schools, at least for the schools that we are approaching you now, they're interested in two models. One is a straight lease. So straight lease, it's only for the building normally that the rental is paid on a per square feet basis. And the other model is a revenue sharing model. So how does the revenue sharing model work? Of the overall revenue that is received, now when I say revenue, it is the gross revenue. A certain percentage is taken by the school, and the balance post expenses comes to you as profit. So for schools, we always recommend the revenue sharing model. Why? Because in the long run, it is far more beneficial than the rental model. And other safeties related to lock-in, escalation, all that will anyway be part of any lease agreement clause. Now, how does the term work, in the sense the tenure of a lease? For any CBSE school, the minimum lease that is required, earlier it was 29 years, now it is 15 years as per the new terms. A minimum of 15 years is required, and the whole 15 years can, in certain cases, be treated as lock-in. And there is definitely a security deposit. The standard is a 10 months, but then it again differs based on each transaction. So that is how it is for school. So nothing very different from what you would see for a commercial. But the benefit that you get is, number one, you're giving something back to the society when it comes to education. So that is something really big. And we have seen many land bankers, people who have held land banks for a long time, coming forward to set up schools. Because schools today, unlike earlier and unlike a huge myth that is around schools, that schools are not profitable, absolutely not. Schools are profitable. Schools are commercial ventures in themselves. And there is a good amount of profit in schools, if you see, compared to many other commercial businesses. If you really have a look at all the data and the financials, considering that we have done finance facilities for quite a few schools, so we know how it works, right? So just come out of the myth that schools are not profitable. Absolutely not. Schools are profitable. And the brands that we represent have presence all across India. And so these are good brands um, which are run in a very professional manner, and they have a very good integrity. Yeah, so that's, I thought I'll just clarify that part, because many had these doubts around, oh, school, how do you think it is safe, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that is how it works. Now, coming to, can I get a loan for constructing a school? Definitely, yes, you can get a loan. Yeah, the number of banks that would come forward to lend you a loan for constructing a school might be less, but yes, there are options. There are good options available through banks. And so that part is also done. So which means, now how does it work? Now, let's say you are building for a school. How does it work? Number one, if it is a new one, like your land, you're developing it, then in the first year, any school will not need more than 40,000 square feet of space. 30 to 40,000, that's the max a school will need. Now, as far as the growth pattern of the schools is concerned, it differs from school to school. Some schools are very aggressive, some are slow. Most schools are aggressive because definitely these are profit-making ventures. So what happens is, in the second year, they will need another 20, then the third year another 30 maybe, then another 20. So the max is 1 lakh for a 2-acre property. I mean, that is what is allowed, at least here in Tamil Nadu. So 1 lakh is what is there. Now, can it exceed? Yeah, it can exceed, but that is, that depends. Do you really want to give that much space to one school at one point? Those are the certain business decisions that you need to take. And so there is a lot of support around schools, and I hope I have clarified a lot of the myths and mysteries around schools. And so that is as far as the new projects are concerned. Now, let us say you have existing schools. Now, you have students in them. How do we take them forward? Yes, you can. So how that is taken forward is, it will be a kind of a phased approach that is done. Now, in case, I have a matriculation school, how will I do it? Yeah, board changes can happen. It has to be applied. There is a certain process which the school will guide in fact, and you have to go through the process, and it is possible. The other one, let us say you have a building and it's a vacant building. It can be used as a school. We have colleges that have been taken up as schools. We have, in certain cases, shed areas that have been converted to schools, industrial shed areas which later got converted to prime commercial areas, or mixed zone areas. That can also be done. Or existing marriage halls at times. If they're in prime areas, it was constructed at some point in time, but there it is a structure that supports schools. We can look at the probability. There is a certain probability. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but there is a certain probability. So that is how things work when it comes to schools. And the other model that they work on is franchise. Now, the difference between a rental or a revenue sharing and a franchise is, in the case of a rental or a revenue sharing, the school takes end-to-end responsibility of operating everything, your admin, your education segment, your sports, everything the school will take care. When it comes to franchise, the franchisor, please keep in mind, will lend you the content and the name. Those are the only two elements they will lend you. And the rest, everything, the operations of the school, everything have to be taken care of by you. So you should have your own team to run the school. That is how it works. So I hope these basic things I have clarified when it comes to schools, and hope it is helpful, and wish you a great year ahead. Bye-bye.